This is recording 644. So last night, Jean's been on with her sickos, her ring of sickos, doing their sick crap or whatever. And then last night, Jean was on showing off to someone, and then it looked like Trump superimposed himself, or she put in something of Trump in my brain and then pointing a gun at me, Christina Stacia. And I'm asleep and this is going on in my brain. But Jean always says she's me. See, right now she's trying to clip and stitch what I'm saying. She always says she's me. And she steals everything I decode and runs around telling lies, and then continues her same child trafficking ring and commits terrorism, and then goes and panders and lies to people and cons people, and then commits more terrorism and then rackets it, and then it's over and over and over again. So, and then she claims that I'm her, and So anyway, I'm like, and sometimes people put stuff in my brain and they're really trying to swing it at Jean. So I'm like, is he putting a gun at me or Jean? Because Jean tried to shoot it. Here's what happened. I'll tell you what happened right now. She lied to a bunch of people that you may or may not know in Tulsa. She was trying to blow them over and razzle dazzle them. So they all put something together trying to speak on behalf of President Trump, not knowing that Gene Roberts and her Manson occult shot Donald Trump. That's why he came on later and said, no, don't pay attention to any of that, Christina. There was Jean pulling stunts. She's trying to con people. Ignore it. So that's what's going on, Christina. You are free to make reports against Gene Roberts. No, you are not any lie that Gene has said about you, Christina Stacia. Obviously, you're not. Obviously, Gene is that way. So anyway, let me make these reports. So I saw another crime that Gene Roberts committed. Now, okay, let me back up. It was 2 nights ago. It was 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago in my brain, and I was falling asleep. I don't know when it was, but it was like 2 or 3 nights ago. She was putting in my brain, her and Ackright were putting in my brain Michelangelo's The Sistine Chapel, the ceiling. And see all code around Michelangelo and the Sistine Chapel. You can go through all the recordings or evidence they turned into the Tulsa Police Headquarters, actual Tulsa Police, not Jean perping and posing as a police. Or like she said last night, I was like, in my brain, I'm like, or I wasn't doing it, somebody was doing it as me. They were going, Trump just needs to fly to here in Tulsa and just arrest this ring of you know what they are. And then he said he was going to go to Tulsa. And then later, Gene Roberts came on in my brain and she goes, no, your dad's going to Tulsa. Gene's got a real dad fetish. You know her thing. Everything is all, that's her whole shtick. I mean, that's her fucking shit, man. She's been doing it for 60 freaking years. Anyway, so she goes, no, your dad's going to Tulsa. He's the president now. And actual President Trump was on. And then President Trump said, no, Gene, you are not a substitute for the president of the United States of America. Neither is Christina's father. And then he said, I know you want me to go to Tulsa to arrest them. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's just total chaos in my brain. But anyway, so this goes to that. So they were leaking that they were about to commit this crime, okay? And then Gene Roberts, after I decoded this, I've got it here on my notes on my phone. I'm getting ready to talk about it. while I'm noting it down in my phone, Jean Roberts is in her and doing her clip and stitch, cut and splice. Like she pushes what she wants in my brain and then she goes, keep it, cut that, keep it, cut that. And then she runs off and tells lies everywhere. So she's trying to racket it, trying to get away with committing the crime and trying to blame everyone else. So this is the crime. Scaffolding collapse at Ethiopian church kills dozens. Worshippers had gathered at the church construction site in Amhara for the Orthodox feast of St. Mary. Okay, so you can tell that she's using Amway and doing Amhara, and then she's using Scarlett O'Hara. Scarlett O'Hara goes with Casablanca, Gone with the Wind. It's combined together, her terror plot. And then O'Hare Airport, Chicago. And then she's using Scarlett. One of the Oxford House's names here in Tulsa is Scarlett. So she's using that. She's got people hiding in Chapter 7 that have been helping her commit terrorism and racketing for her and stealing identities and all that. But I don't do like small time stuff. The leaders of Oxford is international. It's national and international. The leaders, the presidents of it, the very, very, very people at the top probably already know what's going on, and they're probably already working with the White House. And Jean wants to create havoc and fighting using stolen artificial intelligence on people to keep me like I'm 53 fucking years old. She wants to like keep me focused on her scuffles that she creates based off of gossip or crimes that she commits, and wants me to like be all involved in like that kind of stuff. No, because she doesn't want you focusing on her, because she's the perp, and she claims that she claims she's in Oxford leadership. She's not, because she's pretending to be people that she's not. She claims she owns the house that I live in, and she doesn't. She has all kinds of false claims. Okay, so I focus on Jean Roberts, the leader of Charles Manson. This is a national terror occult cell that Jean Roberts is in, that is the leader of, which is Charles Manson. They are hiding everywhere, not just in Oxford. And if you would take time to listen to all of my recordings, you would know exactly where they're hiding. Even Trump found parts of them where I didn't even know, hiding among the homeless. So anyway, so she used, okay, so Pete Hegseth just had the military generals. So Pathos Logos Egos, Pathos Logos Ethos. So she committed the crime based on that, which tells you how pre-planned she had this crime to commit this crime. And then she also used Lucy and Ethel, again, see all code. And then she also used Harry Carey, again, see all code. So she committed that crime. Also, some other things I want to mention is penny stocks. That also goes to her planning to do the World Trade Center attack. And then someone else said she also did this. She used pennies on the dollar. Okay, see all code around penny. Okay, so she's trying to pretend that she's me, and she's trying to pretend that she's going after the United States government, and it's the United States government's fault, and she wants to attack them. Okay, so she pretends that she's me doing that. Okay, so pennies on the dollar, the punny. So that's not what's going on. I'm turning in Jean Roberts, and Jean Roberts is spinning her wheels, spreading lies and committing crime everywhere. So Anyway, video games. I already talked about this in recordings. But just to mention games that she's messed with is Rocket League. I think I already talked to you guys about that in the recordings. And then also Fortnite. I think I already talked to you guys about that in the recordings too. And then how she also hacked remember the big PlayStation hack? Gene Roberts did that too. So I think I've already talked to you guys about that. Again, I've already talked to you guys about this in the recordings. She is the one who stole the heart of the ocean. The heart of the ocean that is real. Okay? It wasn't just made for TV, that was real, and she really stole it. And she did that in plan, in timing for me being here and finding out what she did with the sinking of the Titanic, and then finding out about all this mapping that I just decoded. Okay, so timing all of that out with that. And then she's acting like she's going to give it as a gift. No. You don't steal and then give it as a gift because you know you're guilty for assault, espionage, and stalking, and trafficking, and assassinations of people, Gene. That is not how you make up your arrears. You need to go to jail. Now, as far as like the rightful owners knowing that Gene stole it and then them giving that to Black Lives Matter or whoever you would talk to speak on behalf of African Americans, that's none of my business. That's not my concern. That's precious. It's not my concern. My concern is, and she tries to make me speak to stuff that's not my business or my concern. My concern is turning in Gene Roberts. Okay, so anyway, also that goes to this is, okay, so I was talking to you guys about the white sofa. Okay, so here's more that people have figured out and pointed out to me. So in my house, there's 4 sofas in my living room. Remember, she pre-planned for me to live here. She pre-planned for me to find out about all of this, and she wanted to rip it all off and steal it and get away with all of it. They're yellow or gold, okay? So I had a blue sectional CO coat on that. Then you got the white sofa, and then also they want to add that my sofa was green. So she did all of that. Also, something else that Gene Roberts did, AIW 70s when I was in grade school. So you guys know all about Mr. Cooper. Okay, so CO code there. So someone pointed out to me she also did this. Okay, so my teacher's name was Mrs. Johnson, and my PE teacher's name was Mr. Cooper. Okay, so that was like in 3rd grade, I think. Okay, so Mr. Cooper and Mrs. Johnson. Combine that all with the ciphers that I already decoded of what she was doing back in that time frame and what she's trying to hide today. And you'll figure it out from there. Also, okay, so I'm going to read this off to you because I don't want this to get lost. This is more of Gene's lies, okay? But this is for you to figure out, okay? Gene lied her freaking ass off and continues to lie and make money off of lies. And I don't know how she is not arrested. So I don't want this to get lost. So I'm just giving you the initials. And then I got a lot more that goes. Okay, so SGTWIFBEAKMACH. And then continued CONT. Okay, then Kremrinkle. Then KKA. Then SHCBE. B, and then MEDICARE, Medicare. Okay, and then that connects to what did the chicken say when he crossed the road? And CL code on that. Also, her V lie, the vulgar sign. When you put a V, you take your two fingers and you put a V up to your mouth. Okay, she did that too. And then she also is very vulgar when people eat chicken wings. And she does that to me. Okay. And again, it's more of her fucking lies. She's fucking sick. So anyway, I learned this when I worked at Reese's. They call the chicken wings, there's a drumstick part and then the other part with the two bones. Okay. Those are called flats. Okay. They also look, this is how nasty Jean is. Those look like safety pins. So in her vulgarness, she's bragging about getting away with lying about me. She's bragging about getting away with assaulting two people, myself and someone else from birth. And she's also bragging about getting away with lying about the military. And she has spread these lies everywhere. And she's made money off of it. Tons and tons of money off of it. So anyway, and then I'm talking about going all the way back to when I was 2 months old. She's like exchanging it. You see what she's fucking doing there? Sorry, she's controlling my speech, putting F word in there. And then also wings. That would be her Charles Manson signature. It's one of Paul McCartney's bands. Okay. Also, her future road terrorism plans. Okay, so what did the chicken say when he crossed the road? So in that, she's bragging about her future road terrorism. Like I told you, it's filled. Her complete assault. She lied. She assaulted several people, including myself, and in it, she literally brags about getting away with committing all kinds of terrorism and brags about future terrorism that she's about to commit. And has a field day trafficking her own grandchildren, which I didn't even know that till later on. And then I decoded even more, and I'm like, you're fucking disgusting. I hope somebody arrests you. No, I'm not that casual about it. I go after her. 60-year crime spree of hers. So anyway, this also goes to Holy Diver, and I already decoded Holy Diver by Dio. Okay, this also goes to my 5th grade year. So she's pre-planning to do 9/11. Okay, and so all of this goes to that. And so after 9/11, she's still doing the same thing. Just one lie after the other. She's just recycling. She just like keeps breeding and keeps recycling and keeps abusing and keeps lying. She keeps lying. But that's how she makes her money. It's her safe way. Just tell lies and then you get away with the real thing. Anyway, also her PI theme. Okay, I already decoded all the pie, all that. I mean, I decode the hell out of that. Okay, everybody knows that Jean did that. She probably did it with Act Right. She pre-planned to do it. All of this goes to that. This is all connected together. Okay, so someone else was pointing out the V shape. A piece of pie is a V shape. Okay, and then she also used, you know, she loves to use heavy metal. She also used Warrant cherry pie. Now, note in Warrant cherry pie is drink of water. They said she's also using drink of water. She's also trying to hide under her American Indian movement, and she's also pretending to be a civil rights activist. She's Charles Manson. She provokes and tries to piss people off, and then she's like, I'm with you, I'm your friend, just do what I say. They didn't do the World Trade Center attack. They didn't run around trafficking kids for 60 years. I don't know why you continue to try to force them into doing your fucking shit, Gene. So anyway, so in that she's pre-planning to do 9/11. So that's probably pretty freaking old. So drink of water also goes to her committing the Jonestown massacre, Seal Code around Jonestown. So then that connects again back to AIW 80s Kool-Aid, again, Seal Code, Seal recordings, everything are turned into Tulsa Police Headquarters. So again, that's Gene. So in that, she's saying Dow Jones crash, drink of water, DOW, and then crash 9/11 again. So Dow Jones crash. So then around that time frame, she crashed the housing market in the late 2000s. Okay, and she pre-planned to do that before she did the Oklahoma City bombing. Seal Code. I decoded all of this. So in that, also another lie she does is some SUM thing. Okay, and no, okay, that goes to Dr. Seuss, okay? Dr. Seuss, Ku Klux Klan, okay? Thing 1, thing 2 is from Dr. Seuss, The Cat in the Hat. Something to see. So she's saying XO, comma, SEA. She's saying, I've abused you. I've always abused you. I will make up lies about you. I will continue to abuse who I want. The government, this is what she told me this morning. The government gave me permission to molest children. I'll do it if I want to. She literally told me that in my brain this morning. She said she'll get away with all of it. Also, something else she did. Remember I told you how she said we have a few tricks of our own, and she was referring to prostituting children? And me, who I'm an adult now, but she prostituted me as a child too. I mean, she abused me and trafficked me my whole life. She's been doing that for 60 years. She's a gunny sacker. And this is not a joke when I say gunny sacker. You need to see all code. Gene hides under American history. Nobody's talking about American history. You think that's your safe cover-up, Gene. I'm talking about you, Gene Jernigan Roberts. See all code on gunny sacking. Anyway, so that goes to Trick Cereal. So also note the rabbit. Okay, she also used, more of her assault of hip-hop. She also used It's Tricky by Run DMC. Okay, her hair was kind of curly. I bust her out. I had to leave real early. So she's saying that I left, she's saying that I left my second husband to go, pursue my relationship with Ben, is what she's saying. Okay, when all this is pre-planned. Everything, she pre-planned everything. When she trafficked Ben from birth, she trafficked me from birth, she trafficked the other girl from birth, and she's doing it all to the theme of hip-hop and heavy metal, and thinks she can hide under music to get away with it. Okay, so that would also go up here to the 80s, the Kool-Aid and all that, okay? She also used Gucci Crew Sally, that girl. Now, you know Sally. Sally is Sally from Charlie Brown. She's got yellow hair and she's wearing a blue dress. Okay, so, and what her and Act Right said to me this morning is they said they don't care. They try to turn it around. Basically, they're admitting to trick-or-treating children. If they like the child, that they've been abusing the child from baby to adulthood is their porn star, whether it is a baby, a child, or an adult. They'll abuse the child, they'll make movies of the child, they'll sell the child. The child becomes an adult. If they decide they like the child, it's treat tricked. If they don't like the child, it's trick tricked. So basically, they were admitting to doing that this morning and flipping around sentences and words to say that's what they're going to continue doing. They don't care. And then she also went from cookies and milk. Okay, so it goes AIW 70s and then up into the 2000s because she's trying to overlap, because she's trying to tuck one child under the other and trying to get away with all of it. So she went from cookies and milk and then to milk and honey. And then she went at the same time, Honey, Winnie the Pooh, to her attacking Benghazi, okay, and kidnapping Christopher Stevens. Okay, so that's all in the same time frame, all in the same line. And then she also used Christopher Cross sailing. Then that again goes to her killing Val, my dad's friend. And then that goes all the way back again to 70s AIW. Val was one of his best friends. She was a beautiful woman. Gene was jealous of her. And Gene killed her. Okay, and see how she's enunciating my speech because she thinks she's going to get away with it. She thinks if she makes my voice extra dramatic that she'll get away with it. The fact that she's stressing what you're saying right now and trying to hide the crimes that you just turned her in for in the very beginning and making this her most important point proves that she is guilty for committing all of these crimes. Gene Roberts. Anyway, Val was blonde. She had short blonde hair. So anyway, so back to 70s again, Barbie, and then Barbie, that would be Honey. So she's using Val in that way. Honey, she's yellow, got blonde hair. Okay, now she's selling real estate. Remember I told you she's selling real estate here on Sheridan. Okay, so she's selling real estate next to a daycare. A woman that abuses children and sells them and commits terrorism with the money. Okay, and no one's arresting her. And I'm talking about Jean Jernigan Roberts. This is what else she did. It says the seller's name is Barbara. Okay, now I told you Jean thinks she's Barbarella. See all code. But this is what else she did, using that name. Okay, so she's using Barbara's name from Shark Tank, who is a wealthy blonde woman. Okay, she's hiding under her. And then who else is on that show? The owner of the Dallas Mavericks, also the owner of FUBU. Okay, so anyway, so she's connecting it to Dallas Cowboys. What she's been doing the whole time is using the top of their stadium. So she's tearing up Jerry Jones and she's tearing up Jerry Jones Stadium, all to sell real estate. She's literally bragging about trafficking and abusing children and acting like she's some child savior by tearing up all these teams and all these moguls is what she's doing. Okay, and then that's all I have for this recording.